Greetings, kiddos! Welcome to the second edition of the Nutrition News video series for this school year, the New Jersey Tomato. Today, we are taking a tour of First Field. They are a production facility that offers a variety of minimally processed items. This includes offerings such as crushed tomatoes and tomato sauce. What is most important about First Field, they only use New Jersey tomatoes. Your December holiday lunch will feature a homemade lasagna made with, you guessed it, tomato sauce from First Field's New Jersey crushed tomatoes. Let's review some interesting information about tomatoes. Botanically, tomatoes are a fruit because their seeds are on the inside of the plant, but they are considered a vegetable. Do you want to know why? It's a very interesting story. In 1883, President Chester A. Arthur signed into law the Tariff Act. This law mandated a tax to be paid on imported vegetables, but not fruit. Then, in 1893, there was a court trial, Nix versus Hedden. A decision made by the Supreme Court of the United States held unanimously 9-0 that tomatoes should be classified as a vegetable rather than a fruit for the purposes of tariffs. Tomatoes are classified into three groups: cherry, plum, and slicing.
They're specific tomatoes meant for canning. As you know, like just from cooking tomato sauces, you want like a thicker tomato. You don't want to use like necessarily heirloom tomatoes to make a tomato sauce. You get mostly water and you're using a lot of energy. So it's like, not only is it not great for energy to be just having a pot cooking, just boiling water off, but it's better color and flavor to use canning tomatoes for canning, like for sauces and those types of purposes.
Tomatoes were thought to be poisonous until the 19th century. Their leaves and stems are poisonous, but only toxic if eaten in large quantities. Tomatoes come in a variety of colors, including yellow, purple, orange, green, and even black and white. An important note is that refrigerators kill the flavor of tomatoes. Another interesting fact, if you purchase unripe tomatoes, you can speed up the ripening process by wrapping them in a sheet of newspaper and keeping them on the counter for a few days. Make sure to check them daily so you know when they are ready to consume. The tomato is the state vegetable of New Jersey. We are the Garden State after all. Our tomatoes are often said to have the best taste, and New Jersey ranks 9th in tomato production in the U.S.
So, Teresa, could you share with us a little bit about the Rutgers tomato? I thought it was called the Ramapo tomato.
So the Rutgers tomato was a collaboration that was done with Rutgers University and Campbell's. And so that Rutgers tomato was one of the varieties of the tomato that came out of the John T. Dorrance variety of tomato, which Campbell's developed for their tomato soup.
Okay.
So that's sort of the lineage of that tomato. Rutgers was a really great tomato. It's still a really great tomato. It's got a slightly more durable skin for harvesting and storage and selling at market, but it still retains really good color and flavor even when cooking. So it kind of hit the best of both worlds there. And that was kind of in the heyday when a lot of the folks at Rutgers were working with the folks at Campbell's, like industries kind of work together. And if you look up online, you will see like these tomato trucks that were lining up from South Jersey to get to the Campbell's plant full of Rutgers tomatoes. So these were not San Marzanos at 10, these were all Rutgers or the John T. Dorrance variety, JTD for short, of tomatoes that were being picked and brought in these baskets, basically wooden baskets. And they would get up really early in the morning, pick them, get over the bridge, get to Philly, Camden, and get to the processing plant for Campbell's. New Jersey has a very similar growing terroir as Italy.
Okay.
So the farms that are growing these tomatoes, the soil looks like sand. It's called sandy loamy soil. It does not look like the soil that we see like in central and North Jersey. So it's got this kind of sandy loamy soil. They're growing near the coasts. They have a really moderate climate most of the year. And the sort of the mineral content of the soil helps with the flavor.
So this sandy, loamy soil, would you say that's similar to how a cranberry bog is and why the cranberries do well there?
Similar.
Because we've gone
Yes.
on a tour to a cranberry bog,
Yes.
and I feel like what we were learning was similar.
Similar, very similar. So it's like that similar like kind of terroir is affecting the variety grown in New Jersey because they're San Marzanos. So, but the varieties that we can grow here, we want to make sure that they're unique to New Jersey and they're non-GMO. That's like a big consideration, obviously. So none of our tomatoes are GMO at all in New Jersey, and these new varieties that we're working with Rutgers on will also be non-GMO.
Interesting.
Just old school plant breeding, just old school, what's working, what's resilient, and how it was done before. Yeah. So this is like, probably looks somewhat similar to what you're used to. We got our ingredients over here.
Yeah.
We have all of our R&D, QA, I should say, information here. So like temperatures and pHs and just all the kind of product information goes here, and also on an iPad around the corner. We have a electronic system as well to back the data up as much as we can. We can our tomatoes at the peak harvest. And what that means, I know people kind of throw that term around a lot, but the harvest lasts right from the very beginning to the very end, and you get sometimes more water in the tomatoes in the beginning, less sugar, less acid. At the end, you may have issues again with more water. So we like to really kind of hit a sweet spot for peak.
And in New Jersey, the tomato season is mid-July to end August?
It can be as early as mid-July if we're lucky.
Okay.
That would be great. Yeah, mid-July.
Okay.
And if we're lucky again on the far end of it, it goes to Halloween.
Oh,
end
wow.
of October. So ideally it's that, but oftentimes it's really depending on quality and storms. Like this year it ended, if I remember correctly, I think it's like the first week of October. I think the harvest wrapped up this year. So it was shorter because all that rain we got.
All right, kiddos, let's discuss the health benefits of a tomato. Tomatoes contain an important nutrient, lycopene, which is an antioxidant. And tomatoes are very, very high in lycopene. As a matter of fact, the redder the tomato, typically, the more lycopene in a tomato. Also, items like tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes tend to have more lycopene in them because it's a more concentrated product. What's also interesting, in order for the body to absorb lycopene, it needs a fat like olive oil. So if you have tomato sauce that has olive oil in it, your body will absorb 4 times the amount of lycopene than if you didn't have the olive oil. Tomatoes contain a variety of nutrients, including vitamin C, potassium, vitamin K, and folate. Vitamin C is excellent for our immune system. And then we have potassium. Potassium can help prevent cramps. It's also good for blood flow and can help prevent heart disease. Then we have vitamin K. We need vitamin K for blood clot control as well as our bone health. And then lastly, we have folate, which helps with healthy tissue growth. Tomatoes are actually 95% water and 5% carbohydrates, including insoluble fiber. So insoluble fiber is one type of fiber, and there's another type of fiber, soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber, as the name sounds, means the fiber stays intact through the digestive tract, does not get absorbed by water. Then we have soluble fiber. When that is near water, it turns into a gel-like substance in our colon. Insoluble fiber helps remove waste from our digestive system and can help prevent against constipation. Soluble fiber helps slow digestion. So with carbohydrates, it can help prevent a blood sugar spike. Additionally, it can remove cholesterol from the body and help not absorb all the fat in your body.
All right, kiddos, this wraps up our second edition of the Nutrition News, the New Jersey tomato. I hope you learned a few fun facts about the iconic New Jersey tomato. Make sure to follow us on social media and stay tuned for our next edition of the Nutrition News.